Welcome to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share on any platform that you're listening on. All right, welcome back to another show. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. The handshake agreement is you get to consume all of our content that you want, but you click that subscribe button, that follow button, give us a thumbs up, and that is our handshake agreement with you. We appreciate you doing that for us. If I was listening to your channel, I'd do it for you. Want to thank Cheers and Spirits in the Arnold Station Plaza for sponsoring this show, and well, I shouldn't say this show. They're sponsoring the show for 6 months.
Yeah,
I guess the show in general.
This show in general, as opposed to like another different show.
Yeah, or this episode, right? They're not the whole show.
Yeah.
We want to thank them for their support. Head on over there. Grab some Miller Lite, but you can't do that anymore, apparently.
What's wrong with Miller Lite?
So they just put out an ad.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the ad is, I didn't think it was horrible. It was just like the He-Man Woman Hater, in reverse.
She-Ra?
It was this comedian lady, or this lady from one of the shows where she's constantly objectifying herself, and then she comes on this commercial, basically saying how women created beer and brewed beer, and how we wouldn't have beer if it wasn't for women, women, and then she was talking about how Miller is going to buy back all of the sexually charged advertisements for beer, whether they're theirs or not. So she basically was like, women did all this for beer, and what do? We put them in bikinis.
Okay.
And so
I'm so tired. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Why are they ruining all my stuff?
Right.
Now, granted, first, Bud Light is ass. I hated Bud Light. I didn't stop drinking Bud Light because they had Dylan Mulvaney. I stopped drinking Bud Light because it sucks.
Because you never drank it.
Right. I'd rather not drink.
It was the easiest boycott you could join.
Yeah. I'm like, Ass Beer wants to sponsor Dylan or whatever. I don't care.
Right.
Miller Lite, I mean,
That's
I know quite a few women.
That's one of your beers.
Most of them, at least in like our social circle, aren't pounding Miller Lights with me.
No.
Like they're drinking Trulies or white wine or,
Hoop tea. Yeah.
Like they're not, maybe High Noons. Like most of the women I know aren't sitting back there like, hey, Mike, you got a 16-ounce aluminum screw top? Sure thing. Here you go. If they did, they'd have one.
Right.
But most of them aren't. Well, and I don't understand this thing with these companies that feel this need to alienate their customer base. Now, look, I'm gonna still buy Miller Lite because I like it, and I really I don't watch regular TV that often, so I'm not seeing their dumb commercials or ad campaigns.
It also wasn't as bad as the Dylan Mulvaney one, in my opinion. This was they were trying to be pro woman, like they weren't celebrating women. They weren't celebrating women by putting a man on a can. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't trying to denigrate women.
Yeah.
Like they were overly pushing for women in beer, what they've done. But then they just went, we're going to take away we're going to try and buy up all the bikini ads that we did. So
it was buy them up. We paid for them.
Well, so the funny part was, no. So they were going to buy like people that were like had collectibles that were selling on eBay and stuff like that. That's what it was a complete virtue signal.
Yeah.
Straight up it was.
Because I can't think of the last Miller Lite commercial that I saw.
No.
Like, what was their most recent?
Maybe
Budweiser always had the better ad campaigns.
Or I mean, I know, like, what are they going to have? The distributors that they sell beer through can't have the girls with the low cut shirts in bars anymore to promote their beer. They still do that, by the way.
Yeah.
They go and they promote the beer, and they have the beer
shot girl
specials.
needs a job.
Apparently, Miller isn't down with that.
So now they're gonna fire the shot girl.
Probably. So someone lost their job, right?
A woman
lost their job
because I'm not a shot girl,
and probably two because they usually have more than one that go to these events.
And like a super.
Sometimes it's three.
Yeah.
Now, the funny part was, So, on Twitter, which is, of course, is the center of the universe, women didn't take too kindly to this. So there's this one lady on there, and she said she had a Corona in her hand, which I think is an AB InBev product, but she
is also ass.
But she was on a boat in a bikini, and she says, "Am I doing this right?" She was poking fun at Miller, saying, "Yeah, women didn't care that women were in bikinis selling beer."
No.
And you want to know, so the reason why they had women in bikinis to sell alcohol was because studies showed that men and women like to see women in less clothing. That was the sales pitch.
Look, I've said it. Everybody likes boobs.
Everyone.
And to even drive home the point a little bit further, so think of a car, right?
Cars have boobs?
No, they don't have boobs.
Better if they did.
But think of a sports car. Is a sports car described using masculine adjectives or feminine ones? Generally sexy, and when you look at the lines, they're curvy. They're not blocky. Now, a pickup truck or a big SUV has more masculine lines, but it's not a sexy sports car. No one would say, "Ooh, that SUV is sexy looking." But the Ferrari or a Corvette that has swooping curves and, that is considered a sexy car, and it has feminine lines to it. So everyone, and then point number 2, there's a show called Euphoria. And there's an actress in Euphoria. I can't think of her name.
I think it's this girl that was in the ad.
Okay.
I think it's her.
So, I can't remember her name. So, my wife was watching it, and I was reading a book or something, and she's like, "Mike, you have to check out her breast." I was like, "Okay, if you say so."
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You sure? Is this a trap? No? Okay, I'm in.
So she's like, "She has the most amazing tits I've ever seen," and I looked at him and I was like, "Yeah, that's a nice set." Genetics did her well.
Yeah.
So even women like looking at boobs.
Yep.
So
I don't know what Miller Lite was trying to do though.
I don't get
it's like, okay, Bud Light already had the mantle for pissing people off.
Right.
You didn't want to wait a month to put this out?
Why would you be like, hey, Betty, shelve that ad that we did, just bury that thing?
Right.
That doesn't see the light of day.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I don't even think... So with Bud Light, if I asked you, who do they piss off more, men or women?
I would say Bud Light probably pissed off men more, just because I knew...
Women.
Really?
Think about it. You want to celebrate women, and you put a man on the can.
A caricature of a woman.
Yes. Yes. That's...
Yeah.
Like, because they're celebrating 365 days of womanhood.
Yeah.
Every woman is like, bullshit.
Yeah.
And they played along until it was recognized as this is what 365 days of womanhood is, when it's a caricature of what a woman is.
Yeah.
When we're like, oh hell no.
Yeah.
We're not doing this.
Yeah, I was just saying men because they're the ones that are primarily Bud Light drinkers and we're like boycotting it.
I don't think men give a shit enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think it got enough attention. But I think even with this Miller Lite thing, or the Miller thing, whatever, I forget if it's Miller Lite. It's all the same company.
Well, there's like two big companies that make beer here anymore.
Sure.
It's all AB InBev and
Miller
Coors.
Coors. Yeah.
Which, just like everything else, like it's just our corporate overlords. So.
Yeah. But I mean, I think, other than Gen Z, which is completely stupid. By the way, that's the 26 and unders.
Yeah.
Outside of that, women, they don't buy into this shit. Like, they're not And maybe I could be wrong. I mean, I'm sure there's other white suburban women out there who just get all on their feels, but none that I know of.
The people I know, all have like real world issues to deal with.
Correct.
And really don't care about stuff like this.
No.
And we're just kind of talking about it because it's something to talk about, but I don't care either.
Well, plus it's like if you asked a woman, "Hey, do you care that women in bikinis are selling beer?" No, I get it. Guys like girls in bikinis.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like when you go to the auto show. It's not dudes in Speedos on the platform. It's women in tight skirts and high heels.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly dudes there.
Yeah.
And you want to get eyeballs on the car. So they look at they're looking at the tall chick, and oh, by the way, let me look at this car next to her.
Right, or even the vehicles. So in most vehicle purchase decisions are in a family. The wife or female of head of household is kind of like the final purchase decision. Like if I came out and said, "Hey, we're getting rid of the Sienna and I'm replacing it with a GMC Sierra 3500," my wife would say, "The hell you are." And if I wanted to like still live, continue to be alive, I wouldn't buy that truck as our family's primary vehicle. So women are approving these decisions. But you go to the auto show, even vehicles where I'm not talking like sports cars and stuff like that.
Minivans, whatever.
Minivans, crossover SUVs, which are just minivans that don't have sliders, so they're like less convenient. But it's not a minivan, it's a truck. It's not a truck. It's a bad car and a bad truck. Congrats. You've effed up two vehicles in one. So, but even vehicles like that, like say a Toyota Highlander, most dudes are thinking, "Man, I can't wait to get that Highlander." It's a minivan, right? The Honda Pilot is a minivan, especially the front-wheel drive version. It's a minivan for people that don't want to buy minivans. Mm-hmm. So, but women are driving these decisions. But even in those situations, the people that are demonstrating and talking about and displaying those vehicles at auto shows are women. Now, but I've been to some. They're getting away from like the bikini models and stuff. They look like professionals.
Unless you go to SEMA.
Yeah.
Then it's like a porn show just broke out.
Right.
You ever seen those pictures?
Yeah, but like normal people aren't buying cars at SEMA.
True. It's very true.
Like, oh, I can't wait to get that tricked out WRX STI.
Right.
And I almost bought it, except they had a lady in a bikini on it. Right. So I said no.
Yeah, I had to pass on that. The funny thing is, like, there's a lot of women in that underground car scene too.
Yes. And in fact, it's weird because on my Instagram and Facebook Reels feed, I guess I started watching them. There's a lot of young girls, and they're young women, but I'm going to say girls because like I could be their dad. Mm-hmm. So like early 20s, young girl, they're putting out videos like, I mean, these girls are doing like engine swaps and timing chains. And I'm like, this is cool. Like I'm learning about the car. I mean, and the girl that's doing it, I mean, they're attractive, or something that
easy on the eyes, sure.
But the videos are not focusing on. It's not like they're changing the oil of the truck in a bikini,
right?
Like they're wearing like clothes the mechanic would wear.
Well, they wear what Scotty Kimmel wears.
Yeah,
I mean, the shirt's a little bit tighter.
Yeah,
the boobs are accentuated,
but the focus isn't on them.
No, well,
you're seeing their hands, but you're seeing the engine. You're seeing what they're doing.
Some of them, some of them, you're seeing the wide shot. Though,
yeah,
come on.
But again, I mean, I really now these just started popping up, so I haven't really seen the wide shot too much. So I'm just going based on my limited experience with it. But the thing is, there's more of them coming out.
Well, Discovery used to have the Girls Garage or something like that.
Yeah,
it was like 3 girls that would basically fix up cars, and I mean, look, they were dressed like attractive women. They were not dressed like the diesel mechanic down the street.
Right, they're not like, ew, I spilled oil on my boobs.
No. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
but they also dressed feminine.
Yeah,
they weren't dressed like Buck down the road.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right. There's no plumber's crack.
No.
When they're doing breaks.
Which, by the way, for anyone who's pissed off about like women being objectified, all right, I want you to go and on it, I don't have TikTok, but he puts this stuff on YouTube. Just Google, search for a comedian named Matt Rife, Mattrife, and tell me women don't objectify men. He's a good-looking dude.
Is he that young dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's really pretty in the face.
He looks like a frat boy or a bro.
Yes. But
and a lot of
he's super funny though.
Oh, and then his audience interactions.
Yeah. Oh.
That's mostly what I see.
Yeah.
I've seen his stuff, and he's funny.
He's hilarious.
But these are like women that could be his mom.
Well, so I guess at one of his shows, he basically said he likes the older women. Mm-hmm. And the Cougars, like, they go to his show and they shoot their shot. like he posts videos of it. Like, I saw this one lady baked him cookies and basically said she was going to go blow him after the show. I was like, yo, that's forward as hell. Like, if a dude said that to a woman, oh hell no.
Yeah, like Taylor Tomlinson.
Yeah.
She's really funny too. And if some dude was like, oh, hey, here's a bottle of wine and I'm going to freaking go down on you after this show, I'd be like, oh my God, that's awful.
Right. I mean, he takes it in stride because he
turns it into a joke. Act.
Yeah. He turns it into a joke. But I mean, I would say almost every show, he's got a woman like coming at him hard.
Yeah.
And like, not hard in a funny way. Like, she's about to go on the stage and just start doing it. It's about to be a porn show.
Yeah.
Like, there are some thirsty women out there. Yeah. So I don't want to hear about like, oh, it's objectifying women. Yeah, all right.
Well, then if you also like using like Instagram, for example. Yeah. They're doing a pretty good job at objectifying themselves.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of these workout videos and stuff, they have a style of leggings called the TikTok leggings. They look like honeycombs and like it goes into their butt. Yeah. Like, and then you see the girls go to the gym like doing squats in that. Like, oh, I'm just, I want to watch her to perfect my form. Like, no, you don't.
but they do it. They wear that stuff to go in the gym to catch dudes hitting on them, so they could post it on TikTok. Right. Like, oh, well, it's to me.
And then
you did it on purpose.
Yeah,
like you literally went in front of a dude, took his machine. He's trying to work out. And like guys know about this, and they won't go anywhere near him. And like it was funny, like they were showing a video of a girl who she got caught in doing a squat and she couldn't get back up, and she was videoing it. Mm-hmm. Like she was just videoing her workout.
Yeah.
But she videoed the fact that she basically had to almost sit down so it would catch on the safety.
Yeah.
Because no one would come and spot her.
Yeah. Because
no one wanted to be the guy in the video.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about Joey Swole, he was talking about that. He's trying to like get rid of this gotcha videoing in gyms.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's not the guys that did this. It was the women who were videotaping it, trying to get guys on camera doing it so they could call them out and get views.
Yeah.
And get all the female justice warriors or whatever it is from Gen Z.
All fired up.
Get them fired up. Get them views. Because every view that these girls get is money to them.
Yes.
They don't give a shit about the dude.
No.
Screw him.
Yep.
I don't care if he loses his job. I don't care if he loses his wife. I don't care about any of this. I'm going to get my money.
I'm trying to figure out how losing your job became part of this whole equation. Like there was a guy, and some of these people they're being dickheads, but then they're like, oh, and I found out he works at Mercedes-Benz of Buffalo, and I told them, and they fired him. What? How did that become? It was not involving work. He wasn't representing Mercedes-Benz, nor was he representing Mercedes-Benz of Buffalo. Nothing to do with it. But then you're going to go and get this dude. How many other people does that affect? To make you feel good about yourself? I've seen, but now I can appreciate, because when I used to work out in gyms, I was going there for business. I was getting my workout in, I was getting my lift in. and I was rolling out. Now, I am an adult human male, so I would see attractive women, but it's not like, I say, oh, yeah, she's cute. But I wouldn't like reposition myself so I could stare at her in the mirror. Or go and like, oh, wait, I was doing arms, but she's doing legs. I'm dumb. I'm doing legs now.
Right.
Like, it wasn't anything like that.
But it's not like there's women in the gym on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And they're looking at the dude that has like the tank top that's barely there, with just muscles and abs for days sticking out.
Right,
You don't
it's
think
like-
they're looking at him?
Well, and when they are looking at me like that, you know, I do feel like I'm objectified, you know? But
Right. Makes you feel a little good about yourself.
yeah.
Like, hey, all right.
Yeah, it keeps me going.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, I'll be here all week. Try the veal. But, you know, it's so, and I have seen the creepers at the gym, and I feel bad for some of these girls that are just there for business to get their workout in. But again, these aren't, and I'm never going to say like, oh, well, you know, look at what she was wearing. She was asking for it. But when someone comes in wearing essentially underwear,
Right.
they're looking for a certain reaction. You can't tell me they're not. Because when I go in to work, I'm wearing like sweatpants and a sweatshirt, you know. Only in my own gym in my basement do I wear shorts and a t-shirt. There's nobody around. But if I was at a public gym, like say I was at the Y, sweatshirt, sweatpants, like, you know, I don't want anyone to see me. I don't feel confident in what I look like. So, and I know a lot of those, you know, the girls are doing the same thing. And I do feel bad for them. They have some creeper that's just like hounding them. But also, like, if you see someone,
How often is that though? But I'm sure someone's like, "Oh, it's more than you think." Well,
I mean,
probably less than I think.
you see, like I used to see these guys like, you know, the bros would be, but then also they're young dudes. They're trying to pick up girls. That's the reason everyone's in there.
Right. They're trying to make the eye contact. It's like they walk by.
Yeah.
They try to make the eye contact. See, here's the thing though. If they don't get the eye contact, they get the hint and they move on.
They keep moving. Yeah, it's not like, you know, they're sitting there like, oh, I'm going to try again.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to.
Shocker. Good-looking young people are trying to hook up.
Yeah.
He's not coming over and grabbing your ass.
Right.
He might walk by you once or twice and give you a look to see if you look at him. If not, he moves on.
Yeah. Now, what I think is a shame is that, like, if you do see someone struggling with, you know, trying to put up some weight, like, go grab help them out.
Can't do it though. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, think about it. If you were at a gym and you were that guy that did it, next thing you know, you're on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, oh, he was trying to hit on me, and the way he grabbed the bar.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And what happens, like you said, you don't know who that affects. What if somehow your wife sees it? She's like, Mike, what were you doing?
Oh, you were out there.
You're trying to bang these gym girls?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just trying to make it so she doesn't die.
Right.
Yeah, no, you weren't. You know?
But I'll let her die next time.
Right. But here's the thing. That's where we're at right now. Sorry, you're not getting my help. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm in the gym, but even in general. Not that I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to have my life ruined,
Turned upside down
over someone trying to be offended.
Yeah. And then what I never understood, but there's also a thing like, if I was working out in gyms and there was that person setting up the tripod to record themselves, I'm staying away from that area anyway.
I
don't want to be on someone's video. I don't want to be on, because there was another one that Joey Swole put up. It was this chick. She was showing guys. It was like, oh, when he puts up less than me, keep it moving or something like that. And I was like, wait. You have no idea what that guy's doing. Like, yeah, maybe he was only repping out 135 because he just had shoulder surgery and he's just getting back into it.
Right.
Or, you know, you have no idea what that guy's going through. But then to put stupid videos like that up, and people that are seriously into lifting, like, they don't, someone who knows what they're doing doesn't say, hey bro, what do you bench? Like, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
You know? And my only answer.
This ain't high school.
Yeah. My answer is not enough.
Right.
It doesn't matter what's on, not enough. So, hey, how much weight do you lift? All of it? Like, that's another answer. So those are the two, like, hey, get away from, I'm not having this conversation with you.
Right.
So it's just amateur hour type stuff that it makes me even, like, so glad I have my own stuff. I don't have to deal with it anymore. You know? I can listen. I can put on my death metal and blast it, and nobody's like, oh, can you know, because you go into a commercial gym and it's like Justin Timberlake, you know, K-pop. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to crush weight, listen to K-pop. I mean, certain situations, like maybe a brisk cardio session.
The K-pop stuff always kind of like, K-pop creeps me out. Like, you ever see the guys that are in the K-pop bands?
Yeah, they look. Yeah,
it's almost like they put enough makeup on their face to where it's almost like kabuki theater.
Yeah,
like they put it on extra white. Like they're trying to make them seem more white.
Yeah,
but they're Korean.
Are they in whiteface?
Kind of. Like, it's really like caked. It's almost like kabuki.
Yeah,
and they do it on purpose. Like, it's a cultural thing there.
Yeah.
Where it's like the red lipstick with the powdered face and whatnot.
The geishas.
A little bit, yeah. But it's young boys, and it's just like. And then the weird thing is like, they're Korean. Korean's their first language, but they're singing in English.
Yeah.
So it just sounds a little weird.
Yeah.
Like it does. I don't get it.
No, I do like Smooth Like Butter.
So that's but that's the song I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, outside of Smooth Like Butter.
Yeah.
The rest of the words sound strange to me. It's like, I know this isn't your first language. I appreciate you. But and the weird thing is, like, if it's a Spanish singer, it sounds completely normal to me.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm just used to hearing, like, a little, like, not broken English, but, like, English with, like, a Spanish accent to it. Maybe I'm just used to hearing it.
Or maybe just the way the languages are constructed lends itself lyrically to one another.
Probably.
Whereas the construction of, you know, Korean doesn't lend itself musically to English. Like, the translations don't work.
Well, they don't have R's in there in Korean or in the Asian languages. I don't think there's an R.
Yeah, so I mean,
there's another letter that isn't translated.
But it could be just, you know, the way they're constructed. And I mean, if you think of some of the, what was it? Some of the ads that was like Japanese companies are trying to do like this vacuum cleaner really sucks. And because you don't understand the colloquialisms of American English, you don't understand that means that it's really bad. But if you think about a vacuum cleaner, like, yeah, it sucks. Like, a powerfully sucking vacuum cleaner is a good thing. But no one's going to leave it that way. They're like, oh, why am I going to buy that thing? It sucks.
Speaking of sucks, we're going to segue here.
Ooh, segue.
So last week and this week were interesting weeks because the conspiracy theorists were proven right, and there's a new conspiracy theory out there.
Okay.
The first one was President Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. And before I say this, anything said here, thoughts are our own. We don't represent anyone else but ourselves. He was at, I believe, either Howard University or Morgan State, one of the HBCUs in the area.
It was in D.C., so he was at Howard.
Howard, okay. So he was giving the commencement speech, and at which point he decided to announce once again that the greatest threat to America at this point is white supremacists.
Yeah, domestic threats, white supremacists.
Yes, domestic violent extremists, although this time he actually said white supremacists.
Yeah.
Which is odd considering he was good friends with Robert Byrd, who was a Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Doesn't matter.
Disavowed him, though. Disavowed him. He's not a KKK member. Yeah. But it is awfully strange that all of a sudden white nationalism or white nationalists or white supremacists, which I believe number in the low thousands now amongst the various sects of Aryan Nation, Brotherhood, white supremacists, whatever their name is. But they're going to take over apparently because they're the biggest threat to America right now. Even though they probably would get stomped out in a day, but that's just an odd guess. Anyway, but on that day that he was just happened to mention this, a group, and I'm going to put the group in air quotes because I don't know if they actually exist, and this is where the conspiracy theory comes in. The group called, and let's see if I can remember the name, the Patriot Front. marched through Washington, D.C. with a police escort along a predetermined route, which apparently it was supposed to be a white supremacist group, marched through D.C., and then disappeared down a subway station in Washington, D.C., escorted by police, no Antifa in sight, and just magically poofed into nothingness into a subway tunnel, which the entrance was being blocked off by the police so that nobody could follow them. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. There's more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Normally, and I'm going to ask you this, I asked you this before, I'm going to ask you again. When you think of white supremacists, let's say Aryan Nation Brotherhood, Ku Klux Klan, Knights of whatever stupid name they can come up for themselves.
Right. Grand Wizard Poobahs of...
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever they've marched, protested, gone to speak, what do they normally look like?
So...
Besides whiteness.
Yeah.
There's no Clayton Bixby's at these things.
Yeah. So obviously, so the first thing there's a couple different, like...
Just give me like 2 or 3
people I envision.
Yeah.
So there's like dumpy dudes.
Yeah. And they're on video. We've seen these people before.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Another common characteristic is like poorly kept facial hair and goatees. So like, you know, like, yeah, the guy's got a goatee, but he should probably trim it and shape that thing up.
Sure.
Or like rail thin.
Yeah.
Like inbred looking thin.
Like Appalachia thin.
Yeah. Like malnourished thin.
Like off like a 3-day fentanyl bender.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Screaming, incoherent nonsense.
Yes.
Which, you know, they're utterly despicable. So, and then the other thing is like a whole bunch of counter people out, like shouting them down.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
They're never alone.
Right.
They never get an unabated marching path.
And it's usually like, so they'll have these big rallies and like 12 of them will show up.
Exactly.
And then there's like 400 people to counter protest. Because a lot of times like the ADL gets wind of them being there and some other groups, and they'll come out and, you know.
Well, there was, I don't remember if it was on Netflix or Vice, but they did a thing, I guess, with Bill Riccio or something like that. Is that the guy's name? Or am I thinking of that? Is that a movie? I think Bill Riccio was a real dude. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Vice kind of got into the group, not into it, but like they went to go interview these people, and they welcomed them in, and they were going to go do this rally. And I guess they got coordinated with like 4 other groups, so this thing was going to be huge, right? I think 40 people showed up.
Yeah.
So they don't exactly have a big show out crowd.
Yeah.
Okay. So why are we talking about this, right? So just so happened on the day the president is giving this commencement speech talking about white supremacy is the biggest domestic violence threat in America right now, this group of 100 white men get to march in D.C. and they're called the Patriot Front. Now, the reason why I asked you what normally do you think these guys look like, because this Patriot Front couldn't have looked anything less like what you just described. These were physically fit, clean-shaven, white males, and they were all perfectly wearing the same fucking uniform.
Yeah. Like when I looked at it, it's like, they got all that shit from the 511 catalog.
Yes. It was tan combat boots, tan
like
cargo type pants.
Black boots.
Oh, I saw brown boots. Okay.
Tan, like tan khaki cargo pants, blue t-shirts.
Blue shirts, yeah.
Everyone had the same sunglasses on.
Yep.
Same hat, and then like a neck gaiter type of deal.
And they all had the same neck gaiter.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't one dude that didn't have the uniform.
They were issued somewhere.
Yes. Now, from what I've seen from these white supremacist groups and exposés and the deep dives from journalists who actually went in to go talk to these people, or when they're videotaped on the news, they have never looked this organized and uniformed ever.
Yeah.
So either they really got their shit together for this one, or, and this is where the conspiracy theory comes in, it was 100 feds.
Yeah. Well, and that's, yeah. Well, that's the other, like, in the pictures I saw of them, they're all, in the videos, they all have shields. They're all holding their shield in their left hand.
Yep.
They're marching in step in a formation.
Yeah.
And then when they go down, it's so funny because like you watch them go down the escalator into the subway, and it's like, oh, we got to go to Metro Center because we have to catch the Green Line train to the Red Line train
right.
to go back to Rockville. Like, what are you guys doing?
Like, normally there's such a violent opposition to these guys. Like, they bring their cars. Oh, there's usually a truck with a Trump flag in it.
Yeah.
Like, there's some telltale signs of these groups.
Yeah.
There were none.
No.
In this group at all.
And then the thing is, when they get to the bottom of the steps, like the last dude turns around and gives a salute, and then some sort of signal, some sort of gesture to MPD, who's at the top of the steps. They didn't follow him down.
Yeah. They
They pulled up and stopped there. And I'm
they blocked it off, so nobody could follow them.
And I just want to know, like, if they had police down in the tunnel and said, okay, block the way for these guys, or if they just like dispersed once they were there.
But the police escorts never do any of that for anybody, let alone these guys. They don't cordon off a metro station so that a protesting group can now leave. Yeah. It's never done like that. They're there to make sure stuff doesn't escalate. Yeah. Not so that... Not to escort them through a parade route. And then, oh, no, you guys take this whole metro station to yourself. Right. And so you can go home. What? No. And so,
remember, you want red line towards Shady Grove, right? Not red line towards Silver Spring,
right? Yeah. I mean, and someone's going, well, they could have parked at a metro station somewhere else. Yeah, you don't think someone would be waiting for them there? Trust me, these opposition groups knew exactly when there's one of these white supremacist groups, they know where they're parking, where they're at, where they're going.
There's intel all over the place.
Yes, like this was just weird.
Yeah. And then, did any counter protesters show up?
None. Well, I shouldn't say none because I wasn't there, obviously, and I don't want to say who took the video, but the videos that I've seen, I don't see any. And if there's some there, I'm sure that maybe they're shouting from a distance, but that's not the opposition's way. No, they're a lot more militant. Yeah. They would normally throw stuff at them, like because they're trying to antagonize them. Yeah. To act out, step outside of the zone they're allowed in. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, if you were trying to get conspiracy theorists in on this, well, you did exactly what you needed to do.
Yeah, but the problem is, all the conspiracies end up being true. Well, so let's go to a different conspiracy theory. Right. The Trump-Russia collusion.
Oh, boy.
So the Dunham report came out. The FBI responded. So this isn't like, oh, it's just the... But you can already see how the media is trying to discredit it because they're saying the Trump-appointed special counselor came out. So they're trying to say, oh, well, Trump appointed him, so it doesn't mean anything. But the FBI came out and said, yeah, this is damaging to us, and we did all of this. And the people that did it are gone. So, essentially, like, the whole thing, they knew it was false from the beginning. Like, they knew from the break that this wasn't any good. Yet they still pursued it. Yeah. And investigated it and did all this, like, knowing that it was bad. So, like, the conspiracy theories like, oh, the FBI is in on it. I was like, no, they're not. Oh, they are.
Well, and this is kind of like what... We've talked about this before. It's almost like I don't know what to call them. I don't know if you call them liberals or progressives. Basically, Democrats at this point. They're living 3 years in the past. It's almost like we time traveled right? Because they're just now getting information that we've known for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
We knew the dossier, the Steele dossier was fake. We've known that for 2+ years now.
Yeah.
Or even more than that, probably 3 years now. We've known that. Independents and the people on the right, conservatives, have known this.
Yeah.
This isn't news. But now the only reason why some people on the left will believe it is because the FBI basically said, yep.
Right. And CNN said it.
Well, now.
Yeah. Now they are. But before, like Rachel Maddow was one of the biggest proponents of that thing.
And by the way, I mean, when we're talking about the Steele dossier, this is the Russian collusion thing.
Yeah.
This is Russian collusion. No, it was fake.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Made up. And now the FBI is saying, oh yeah, it was fake, but the people that were in place that did that kind of thing, they're gone, and we got the corrective action plans are in place now to make sure it doesn't happen again. So they're basically, not only did the report say they did it, now they're saying they did it, and they're saying, oh, well, there's nothing else to do because we already put in place the corrective action plan.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to see here.
But here's the thing. When they say that everyone's gone who is responsible for it.
You don't know if they are.
But here's the other problem. Even if they are, the number twos were cut from the same cloth.
Right.
So, like, if number one rolls, because in disgrace, which none of them do, they all get land jobs, consultants, or some think tank. What does a think tank even do?
Think.
Okay.
They think.
I think about stuff all the time.
Or they,
Am I a think tank?
Or they drink and get themselves in the tank.
I do that too.
Right.
So,
listen, maybe you can find a new workplace.
We're a think tank.
That's what this is. We are a think tank.
Yeah.
We're just not hired by anybody.
Right.
Except Cheers and Spirits, Wine and Liquor. And the Arnold Station Plaza in Arnold, Maryland.
But, good plug.
Thank you.
So,
I feel good.
But yeah, so like, the number twos, the seconds are all cut from the same cloth. All those high-ranking appointees are all like. And I think I've said this before, and I'm not the originator of this thought, but they all went to the same colleges.
Yeah.
They all go to the same bars.
Princeton, Harvard, Yale.
Yeah. They all get the same masters in public policy. They all get hired by the same think tanks. When they're young, they're all banging the same girls. And the girls are banging the same guys. Like, they're all in the same. It's this inside the Beltway clique that, whether they're conservative or progressive, it doesn't really matter.
That's the uniparty.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you're describing is exactly what was shown to us in the movie The Good Shepherd. With Matt Damon was in it, Angelina Jolie, and essentially the women and the men from these secret societies are put in place to get married, have babies, keep the secrets.
Yeah.
And, yes, it's a movie, but it's based on a lot of fact. Is there dramatization? Sure there is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everyone's heard of Skull and Bones, right? That came out with, I guess, George W. Bush. But guess what? John Kerry was a member.
Yeah.
Barack Obama is a member. I mean, most presidents and high-level government officials have been part of Skull and Bones, and I believe there's one other one that's at either Yale or Princeton, I believe. This isn't news to anybody.
Yeah.
But these groups control power.
Yeah. And here's the thing: is there any difference between them doing it the way they do it and the old monarchies that used to run the world 200-300 years ago? You got
more cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But no, it's essentially, I mean, you're right, it's an oligarchy rather than a monarchy.
But the thing is, even if you were say you were to go to like the heyday of the British Empire, the British East India Company, right? Huge, tons of money, controlled, 50% of the world's population type of deal. The guy that wasn't a blue blood, who wasn't, but the dude that was just kind of I won't say civilian, but not high ranking monarchs or royalty, but had a ton of money. You think that dude had no influence over what happened over the king? The dude that's writing the check has a lot of money, had a lot of influence over the king, just like they have a lot of influence now. So, that's no corruption and that thing. That's nothing new.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just find it interesting, though, that this is probably step one, right? It's too early for it to be ramped up. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the playbook we saw in 2020. Now, 2020 was a little bit different because you had the COVID scenario in which laws were put in place for mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that's been overturned. Or not overturned, but it's they've written laws.
It's kind of been reined in a little bit. It's not as
so mail-in ballots are not going to be as widespread as they were before. In fact, Carrie Lake, the lady out in Arizona who lost the governor race to Katie Hobbs, she just had her court case today, I believe, was allowed to go to trial. Mm-hmm. So they've been doing discovery, and basically she's been doing all this stuff to see to get her case to a trial. And so it had to do with signature verification of ballots in Arizona. She brought up, I believe, 77,000 cases where the signatures don't match.
Yeah.
Well, she only lost by 17,000.
Yeah. So
even if they look through these things and they only find, a fifth,
they find 20%.
Right. If you find 20%, it's enough to overturn an election.
Yeah.
And so, but again, that's another conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is I think as we get closer to next year's election, the presidential election, I think you're going to see more chaos that's manufactured. Mm-hmm. Like we saw the Antifa stuff in Portland and Minnesota, and like random swing state stuff. Like Minnesota used to be a swing state, now it's solidly blue.
Yeah.
But you're going to see it in Pennsylvania. You might see it in Michigan. Mm-hmm. Probably not so much in Florida, because Florida's not really a swing state anymore.
No.
Ohio, maybe. Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada. Those are your swing states. The rest of the states no one cares about.
Yeah.
Georgia, maybe, because I think the Democrats think that they can switch Georgia. Especially with the senator elections that happen.
Yeah, but they also ran some now the Republican Party ran some crappy candidates in a couple key races.
Yeah.
One of which was Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Dr. Oz lived in New Jersey. Now, granted, it's the greater Philadelphia area.
Yeah, but they should never.
It's kind of like, but it would kind of like being, because we live in the DMV, and I'm a popular figure, I'm going to run for senator in Virginia. Right. Like it doesn't, you're not from, and it was really bad because like Fetterman, now in their defense, they had no debates until most of the early voting had been done.
Right.
So no one could really see how bad off John Fetterman really was. And I feel bad for the guy. Like he had a stroke. Like he's,
they propped him up, man.
Yeah.
Like what they did to that man that's criminal.
Yeah. Like should he be there? I sometimes even say the same thing about Joe Biden. Right. Like that guy's old. Like let him eat his oatmeal and watch Matlock.
I mean, my thing with Fetterman was this guy he could have died. And you still propped him up.
Yeah.
Put him on TV to just embarrass himself.
Yeah.
And I don't think he went to the Senate for the first 6 months.
No.
And yeah, he seems to be doing better now.
Yeah. And then,
but like, let the man recover in peace, for crying out loud.
And then the Georgia race was Herschel Walker.
Oh, geez.
And
hell of a football player, but have you ever heard him speak? It was rough.
Yeah, that was like pre-concussion protocol football too.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, get back in there, dude.
if he's not in some CTE program right now,
yeah,
you got to get him there.
Yeah, like you're sitting out a snap and then you're going back in.
Yeah, like he's in rough shape. Like,
yeah,
you're putting. Look, I'm not a fan of Raphael Warnock, but the man can speak.
Yeah, he's a preacher.
Yeah.
Like that's what he does.
Right, he can hold an audience.
Yeah,
and he barely won against Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, my man. I mean, it's like, I don't want to make fun because I don't want to. But his speech was barely putting 2 words together.
Yeah,
Like, geez, man. Mm-hmm. Like, either give him some easier speeches or just don't debate.
Yeah,
Like, that was bad. So yeah, you're right. Bad candidates. And Dr. Oz. I mean, I don't want to say you can't run celebrities because celebrities win all the time, I guess.
Donald Trump won.
Right. But Dr. Oz is not a likable dude.
No.
Like, he's on TV talking down to people about health, which he mostly gets wrong. And you're trying to sell him as a senator in Pennsylvania, which everyone knew he didn't live there.
And I used to live in Pennsylvania. And, you know, when you get outside of, like, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, say Harrisburg, York, yeah, it's a smaller place, but like the meat and potatoes of Pennsylvania is pretty red.
Yep.
They have the population centers, but Pennsylvania, like, is a shall issue carry state. Tell me a state that has 2 Democrat senators and a Democrat governor that's a shall issue carry state. Right. You're not going to find one. But they are, because that's kind of, when you get to like the vast majority of Pennsylvania, that's kind of where they are. So, yeah, just strange how they couldn't find someone to. I mean, Rick Santorum, who's like a wacko conservative, was a senator from Pennsylvania.
You know, the stepper is looking at Fetterman as an individual and his background. He would have been. You would think he would have run as a Republican. Okay. He's got that anti-establishment look to him. Mm-hmm. Like, the dude was wearing a sweatshirt to as lieutenant governor.
Yeah,
like he was Joe the plumber, like the second.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He could have run as a Republican, and probably won before the stroke. Mm-hmm. And nobody would have been the wiser.
Yeah.
But they ran him as a Democrat because that's what he was, and all right.
Yeah.
But he looked to me like if you could stereotype looks, he looks like a Republican. Mm-hmm. Like, he looks like the guy down the street who would run.
Oh yeah, goatee, tatted up a little bit.
Yeah. The bald head, like,
looks like he rides, like, shaved bald head. Like, looks like he rides some sort of Harley everywhere. And,
sure.
You know, shoots guns in his backyard. Like,
but the weird thing, I mean, with the conspiracy theories, though, the thing I don't understand is I don't understand the people on the left who see the Durham report now, they see the statements made by the FBI now, and they still say, well, Trump was a Russian asset.
Yeah.
Russia collusion. Like, the people that came up with the report are literally telling you it was fake.
Well, these are also the same people that are still wearing masks.
Well, yeah.
And still making you get vaccines.
Right.
And all this other stuff. So it just kind of boggles the mind how, when I was growing up, the Democrats and the left was like anti-war, anti-establishment, and now it's like completely turned on its head.
Bill Maher talked about this the other day.
But, you know, watching like Rage Against the Machine, Zach De La Rocha yelling at people about getting vaccines, like, what is this? What happened to? Fuck you! I won't do what you told me. Where's that guy?
Right.
You know, I love Rage. Mm-hmm. You know, especially like we were talking about lifting earlier. Like, you want to talk about some hate music to get fired up a deadlift to, like, put some Rage on.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're talking about getting your vaccine and you're killing people. Like, since when is Rage Against the Machine the spokesman for Pfizer?
Right.
Like, what is this? What is happening?
And have any of them backtracked that? Now that they know, now that Pfizer came out and told the truth, has Tom Morell or Zach De La Rocha or De La Roca, however you pronounce his last name, have any of these wackos come out and said, "Hey, we got it wrong. Sorry."
Yeah.
No, not one. Mm-mm. No, and they never will because they're never wrong.
No.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like, by the way,
what do you think of this? By the way, this
the 1776. So we've been drinking some whiskey while we've been talking, as we usually do. 1776.
So just for some detail on it.
Yeah.
It is James Pepper 1776 bourbon. So, it's 100 proof. It's, let's see, established in 1780 during the American Revolution. The Pepper family brand is the oldest brand of whiskey made in Kentucky. The brand was fondly called Old 1776 by its scion, the Colonel James E. Pepper. This fine whiskey was hand-bottled at their historic distillery in Lexington, blah, blah, blah. So, and it's got the freaking snake that's all chopped up with the... Is that the Don't Tread On... No, that's not the Don't Tread On Me. That's the...
It looks like the snake that's cut up and then each section was supposed to be a state.
Yeah. It says New England, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina.
The original colonies.
Yeah. So, it's weird. When I first bought it, I thought it was too hot, too spicy.
So that's where I'm at right now.
I'm drinking it neat, man. I'm digging it.
So...
Maybe I'm just maturing as a bourbon drinker.
You're gonna be swanky here in a little bit.
I'm gonna talk about Dusty Barrel.
You are gonna talk, yes.
In fact, there's some definite Dusty Barrel in that.
I'm getting the frog semen.
Oh, really?
Yes, I do. I get frog semen.
You know, now you think of it, now that you say it, there are some undertones.
Let me get my nose way deep in there. Yeah, definitely some Dusty Barrel. I'm getting that. I'm definitely getting some wax mangina in there.
You did shave,
right?
So I don't know.
It is spicy to me. I don't get sweetness out of it at all, and I tend to like if it's going to be on the hotter side. Like this is 100 proof. I tend to like the 100 proofs to be a little bit sweeter. Mm-hmm. It's and it's got a little, for me, it's got a little sting at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't dislike it. I just don't think I would choose to drink it.
Yeah. It's funny, when I first bought it, I've had this bottle for a while. Mm-hmm. And you've heard me talk like how I'd like to have a collection of bourbon, but I drink it all.
Yeah. As you should.
Yeah. So, but I thought this would be the one that would hang out for a while. Now, it could be it's all I have left, but no, I still have some Elijah Craig left. I like it. I don't know if it's my go-to, but I definitely, I think maybe it's important to like go back and try something again.
So I did that with the Elijah Craig small batch.
Yeah.
When I first tried it, and we tried it on the show, this was a long time ago though, because it was one, I think it was in the second batch of bourbons that I bought, and I tried it, and I did not like it. I did not like it. I was like, I will not drink this. I thought it was going to sit upstairs forever. And so one night, I was going to come down to the basement, do some work. Put it over ice, like I normally do. I'm like, let me give it another try. Otherwise, it's going to sit here forever. And I let it mellow out with the ice a lot more. Mm. And I liked it. Like it again, am I going to choose? Is my first choice? No. But can I drink it? Yes.
Right. If this was all that was here.
Yeah. Well, and to believe it or not, I don't know what it was. And maybe it's because we've had quite a few of these now. I almost liked it. Mm-hmm. Like I would, like if I was gonna sit in the basement again and do some work at night, it might be one of the ones I pour. Mm-hmm. Just because I'm the Old Forester 86 is getting a little low. Like for me, I don't like to kill a bottle just in case. You know, what if I want to have this for like something specific or
That's
something?
why I kept that bottle of Basil Hayden's forever.
That toast? Yeah. That,
No, I'm talking. Have you had regular Basil Hayden, not toast?
no, I only have the toast. And
Okay.
that is something I probably would not pick to drink. It's got that, I guess if there was something called a dry quality to it, like that was something like you put it in your mouth, it sits on your tongue, you swallow it, and then it just disappears. It evaporated quick.
It's so the toast had the flavor of, and maybe because toast is kind of like impacting or influencing how I'm kind of describing it, but you ever have like those, this was, like with fire roasted garlic and tomatoes, and I read burnt. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
That's kind of, I love garlic.
Yeah.
So, you say the Holy Trinity is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The Holy Trinity in cooking is green bell pepper, onions, and garlic.
Right.
So, like that to me, it's you saute that in olive oil. I don't care if you're making sauteed dog shit. It's gonna smell good cooking. But once you burn that garlic, it gets bitter and it's bad.
Oh yeah.
So you have these guys who are like, oh, you go to some restaurant like fire roasted tomatoes and garlic. You burnt it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing with the toast is the barrel's not charred as much. That's why they call it toast. So I watched
Is it toast like ding, like cheers?
No,
or is it toast like?
So it's a light, so they don't burn the inside of the barrel as much.
Okay.
It's that's why they call it toasted versus, so like a normal
Charred.
Yeah, a normal whiskey barrel is charred.
Okay.
So like they burn the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And I watched I'll send you the video. There was a video on a guy who makes barrels, Cooper. They're called Coopers. Very few of them hand-make barrels. Most of them are made in factories. This guy actually makes handmade barrels in upstate New York.
I'm sure he's got tats in the beard.
No, he's an older guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's an old construction guy.
That sounds like something that a hipster would do.
It does. And
like, hey, what are you doing with that degree from NYU? So I make barrels, and when I'm not making barrels, I drink IPAs, and I ride a unicycle. And I work on my mustache.
I tie girls to railroad tracks and wait for the trains to come.
and I dance away with a bag of money.
Right.
It has a dollar sign on it.
Right. And I know there's a hero that's going to come and untie her and take her away.
And it's not me because my arms are far too flimsy.
I can't believe I even was able to pick her up and take her to the train tracks.
I actually needed help getting her there.
I took her in a wheelbarrow. Man. But anyway, so he was an older guy. I guess so. Basically, his story was his wife got a job out. I think it was Elmira, New York, or something like that, and so they moved there for his job, and he was a construction guy, and he was just like he just wasn't into construction anymore. And his wife came back. She got the idea, I guess, of being a Cooper. It was a cool little video. I'll send you the link, and I'll put the link in the description below. But it's like a 30-minute video, but it's just a good list. Like I was really just learning something from it. I didn't know that's how it was done, how they make the barrels for the whiskey. Apparently, with bourbon, you have to use a brand new wood barrel, otherwise it cannot be considered bourbon. So I learned it was 51% corn mash, and it has to be a brand new wooden barrel.
Okay.
So I know
steel aged bourbons.
I guess not.
I wonder what happened if you steel aged a spirit.
Well,
would it just maintain its clear color?
Well, you can't call it a bourbon. I know that bourbon has to meet certain criteria apparently by law. Like they actually codified it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the different types of, like there's like Irish whiskey and Scotch. Like it's different,
Yeah. I want to find out what sherry is.
Sherry's like wine. It's like fortified wine.
Is it though? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Anyway.
Yeah, so there's sherry and port. So I grew up Episcopalian, and in communion they would either serve sherry or port. So sherry's like a dessert wine.
Okay.
Some people might call it like an aperitif or one of those nasty hangover. Ooh, nasty.
Especially when you're 8.
Yeah. And then there's port, which used to be Portuguese wine. So the interesting story behind that. So when Henry VIII split from there's no wine industry in England. Like, no one think when you think wines, no one thinks, "Ooh, I want some English wine."
No, not at all.
No one thinks about food either when they think about England.
Bangers and mash.
Yeah, spotted dick.
Got to work on those names.
Steak and kidney pie, but so the French, Spanish, Italians would not import wine to England because Henry VIII left the Catholic Church. The only people that would were the Portuguese. So port wine, Portuguese. Mm-hmm. So
okay. By the way, if you ever want a good watch on Henry VIII, watch The Tudors.
Okay.
It's a good little. It's a 1-season show, but it was really good. A lot of Tig old biddies in that show. Actually, not so much Tig, just biddies. A lot of biddies in that show.
Not complaining.
Yeah, it's a good watch. I wouldn't mind. Is sherry sweet or no? Because I think it's cherry. I'm not.
No, sherry. So have you ever had she crab soup?
No.
Or like a crab bisque?
I've had crab bisque, yeah.
So some places that like a really thick crab bisque will serve it with a shot of sherry, and like you mix it through the soup, so it's not fruity and sweet. It's not like Manischewitz, which is like drinking grape juice.
Yes, delicious.
It's more like, yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's dry, but it's not. Now the hangover's still nasty.
Right.
So my mother used to get Taylor port. She'd keep that at the house.
So, off topic, we went to a steakhouse for Mother's Day. Had my first old fashioned.
Oh yeah.
I just thought it was all right. I was like, why not? Why wouldn't I just drink the whiskey straight? Why do I need this other stuff in it?
Yeah.
Like, there was. I guess they have. It's bitters, simple syrup, and like a cherry or something. It's like supposed to be like a sweet bourbon or a sweet whiskey. It had a Baker's 5-year or something. I don't know. It was some. Like I was like, I should have just drank this straight. Like this other stuff is in the way.
Right.
That's not, I was just saying because I tried something new. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoyed this this kind of tongue-in-cheek episode about conspiracies that end up being true apparently. Yeah. So conspiracy my buns. A lot of stuff seems to be coming true. We didn't even get to the JFK and the CIA thing.
No, it'd be a different episode.
Yeah, although I don't want to get shot either. So especially RFK's running. I wonder if there's like a. Not that I ever want to bet on someone's death because that'd be morbid, right? But I wonder if there's like an over-under.
I'm sure there is in Vegas. I'm sure someone has that. There's a book on that.
Whether
somewhere.
He's the third Kennedy to eat it.
Bookies aren't exactly like the most reputable guys.
Yeah.
No, that's crossing the line.
For anyone, RFK is Robert F. Kennedy, his son.
His voice is terrible, though.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. But you ever hear like John F. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy's voices? They're not great either.
Yeah.
Like luckily they were in a day when
the audio wasn't that good.
Yeah, everyone sounded like that. Everyone sounded like this. Yeah. We're gonna fund mass transit and and make everything wonderful.
Right.
And the Russians are horrible.
Right. The house of the future today.
That's right. I don't know why that's our go-to voice for everything.
Because that's what they used.
That is. I mean, whether it's the 1930s or the 1960s.
Even if you listen to like old, because the recording technology didn't really pick up the human voice very well. Watch some old dogfight footage from Vietnam with the, between like F-4 Phantoms and MiG-21s. And they'll have the audio recorded over the gun sight cameras.
Yeah.
And the voices all sound sound like this.
It's like none of them had testosterone back then.
Okay.
Not that we have any today, but I mean.
Yeah, all right, Bill, bank left and I'll get in behind him. I can get him. Like, what are you're supposed to sound cool. You're a fighter pilot.
there's no low end in the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, You're a fighter pilot.
Like,
When you get on, so everyone's here's flown. So on the airplane, and the guy gets up like, "Oh well, ladies and gentlemen, the weather in Dallas is nice today, and we're expecting a smooth." No, it's good evening.
It's smooth jazz on the radio.
We're going to be flying to Dallas at about 35,000 feet. Weather upon arrival is going to be 78 and sunny. Thank you for flying to friendly skies, United Airlines. Like, it's cool, man. Like, that guy sounds like you want to be your friend.
You ever hear the pilot that, like, he says, scheduled flight time is about an hour and 55 minutes, but I'm probably going to get you there in about an hour and 35. like he's some magical pilot,
right?
And he's gonna get you there quick.
Yeah,
like
he's gonna fly the jet with like just his pecs.
he's doing everyone a favor by stepping on it.
Yeah,
like wait a minute, it's scheduled for an hour and 55 minutes, but you can get us there in an hour and 35. Why didn't this thing get scheduled for an hour and 35? Why would you go slower
all the time?
Right? Who's throttling the engine? Like, come on, whip out your man dick and fucking press the throttle.
Oh, I will. It's about 9 inches long.
I'm flying the plane today with only my schlong.
Yeah,
and we will be moving very quickly. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you to Cheers and Spirits, and we will see you guys next time.